Hi, and welcome to the video explanation for the Year 10 IST Networking and Web Design Assessment task. You'll find on every page of the assessment a link to this video explanation on YouTube. So here's the cover sheet. You've got student name, teachers' names, coordinator, etc. Due date here, really important. Due date is Wednesday the 19th of the 10th, 16 in term for week 2. Please make sure to make a note of this in your calendar to get it in before the due date. Weighting is 30%. And your description of originality is here as well. So you have been hired by IST Solutions to construct a website assisting students with their studies. You are required to select and apply an appropriate range of software tools to design, produce, and evaluate a website that successfully explores an appropriate topic. The site is to be comprised of at least 5 pages, including a bibliography page, which lists all sources used and explains your right to use them. Justify the selection of the software development tools used to assist in the completion of this task. As an alternative, you may have decided to take on a job with a separate company, constructing a website on a different topic, but with very similar deliverables. Discuss with your teacher before commencing the project. Here's a range of some possible topics: how to set up a network, the OSI model, wireless networks, network operating systems, network security, the latest developments in networking, development of the modem, or some other concept. It's important to make sure your concept gets approved by your teacher. So if you choose to do something different, you might want to discuss that with your teacher before you start. Some useful links are here, not just for the assessment, but also for just general website building as well. So first step is to construct a proposal of your website project. So you need to create your proposal and place it below. In your proposal, give details of the topic, a list of the pages, and a brief description of what will be on each one, and any special features you might include. Use the following structure as a guide. So you need the title of the website, the topic, why you consider the topic appropriate, list of websites you can use for information. Can you locate enough information to create a website for at least five pages? What will the subtopics on each page be? And then you need to list a naming structure for your folders. So, for example, this one, but the folder structure is up to you. It's really important that you do keep everything in a really, really strict file structure so that when you move things around, your links don't break. And so as you can see here, it's why we've got a folder on a desktop, and then inside that folder, images. You could have one for HTML, you could have one for media, etc. It's up to you, but as long as everything gets stored in at least this one folder, then your links won't break when you move it around. Second step is obviously a Gantt chart. So once your project's been approved by your teacher, then you need to develop a Gantt chart for that project, and the details of that are here. It's the same as every other assessment. Really important, this is easy marks, that you make sure you take every task in this assessment, and they're the tasks that you see here, and you break each one into 2 or more subtasks so that you can get the full marks for 5 here. The storyboard. Okay, you need to make a storyboard of your website using Lucidchart, and you should include all elements of your page, including fonts, color, styles. Navigation should be shown through arrows. So to get it 10 marks, you need to produce a detailed storyboard appropriate to the project type created, use the format specified, and covers the project in its entirety. Okay, the difference is how much detail you put in. So when we talk about detail, we're looking at every element on the page. We're looking at identifying fonts, styles, colors, basically everything that you can think of. So the idea is that any 2 web developers could pick up this same storyboard and make exactly the same website. Use of media. Okay, so we have this section every assignment as well. You need to outline the media you've used and provide evidence you have the right to use it by either gaining permission or through creating it yourself. Evidence can include screenshots of emails to rights holders, copies of license terms, screenshots of you creating media, etc. Failing to do this will mean that your media will not be marked and you've raised the table for every piece of media to create or use. So the key here is that there's nothing in here about you having to make the media. So if you choose not to, you can just acquire the media from other sources. However, you do need to record here exactly where you used the media and whether you have the right to use it or not. So really important that you do use a large range of media, as it says here, the 9 to 10, use a large range of media, but also that you have the right to use it, and you have to look at the license terms, etc., to ensure that you have the right to use it and record it here. The other key thing to note is that while your right to use it is important, the more important part for this assessment is that you supply enough evidence so that we know that you have the right to use the software or the image or video or whatever it is. So if you say that, look sir, no, it's all good, the guy said I could use it, but there isn't enough evidence for us to know that, then you won't get the marks there. So you need to supply all the evidence that we'll need without having to have a conversation with you to verify that you have the right to use a certain piece of media. So website, you'll obviously have to make a website at some point. You're going to need to right click on the folder, put everything in one folder, right click on it and click compress, which makes a zip file. And then you can upload that to Google Drive and stick a link here and share it with all your teachers. So this way we have a copy of your website for marking. And obviously, as it says up here, the marks will appear under peer review. So for advertising, every website these days has some sort of advertising. So we want you to get into the habit of making high quality advertisements that enable you to create money from the people visiting your website, but also are suitable for your website and not obtrusive or annoying for the people who come to visit. So you need to use, your advertising media needs to be of high quality and appropriate for the project's topic and target audience. The content must be appropriate to the topic of the website. Advertising is not obtrusive and integrates well with the site design. So using Google Web Designer and the following online tutorials, you need to make an ad for your website, place the ad in your website, take a screenshot, and supply that below. Peer review, as always, we get you guys to mark your own assessments. So you're going to be marking out of 10. Every website is to be marked in a peer review. So it's really important that you are there on the due date to mark your classes assignments, but also that you mark fairly. So the marking criteria is here, and you need to make sure that you mark to that, because as said over here, you can be given 0 for peer review if you don't submit a project, or if your project is inappropriate, or if you didn't mark everyone else's project according to the marking criteria, I'll take marks off your peer review. Or if you didn't mark all projects in class apart from your own, I'll take marks off your peer review. So you need to make sure that you are here present on the day it is due. You need to make sure that you mark everything according to the marking criteria. So you don't just give 10 to your mate because he's your mate, and you don't just give 0 to the guy you don't like because he's the guy you don't like. You mark every project regardless of who it's by, based on its merits. And obviously with the time it takes to present websites, these presentations, while we aim to complete them in one lesson, they might go over into 2 lessons. Evaluation. So you'll need to evaluate how well you met the requirements of the design brief. The design brief is this thing right at the top here. That's the design brief there. So you need to look at that and say, how well have I met those requirements? And so for this section, you've got 5 marks here. To get 5 marks, you need to extensively and honestly evaluate the project in terms of how well the terms of the design brief were met and provide extensive evidence of you meeting those requirements. The difference between this one and the 4 is the extensiveness of your answer. So write lots of detail and provide lots and lots of evidence, and you'll get your 5 marks there. The next bit is a justification of the appropriate use of software. So you would have used a number of pieces of software in this assignment, and we're not just talking about Dreamweaver or the application used to design your web pages. So you would have used a range of operating systems, you would have used multimedia editing tools, you would have used web browsers, etc. So you need to make a list of every piece of software you could have possibly used in the creation of this assignment and justify your use of it. Okay, because my teacher told me to is not a justification. You need to, if that is the case, then you need to then decide a reason why your teacher told you to use that software. Then the next one, you would have to also explain each of the hardware that you used and why. So obviously you would have used a range of hardware as well, from from keyboards and mice to monitors to modems to possibly microphones and webcams to develop media, etc. So make a list of all the hardware here and explain why you used it. Again, the extensiveness of your answer is going to give you the 5, so you need to make sure you list everything. And that's basically the assignment. Any questions, you can come and see your teacher or me if you choose, and we're more than happy to answer anything for you.